Teresa. Did I say that right? Do you have anything you want to say back to Bella?
No, but she got me a little there.
Okay.
Thank you.
W's in the chat for Bella. W's in the chat. Thank you, everyone, in advance. Evil. Oh wait, no, Maceo. Wait, let me get these two people's ages real quick, just so I can make sure they're actually valid. Evil, can I have your age for TikTok purposes?
Yeah, I'm 33.
Okay. What's up, you? 33. Okay, Evil, or not Evil? I'm sorry, Alejandra.
I'm 21.
Okay, when were you born?
2004.
Okay. Maceo, what's the purpose of your prompt?
Oh, to talk about the 4 types of racism, which internalized would be one of them. So when people say, "Oh, you're not being racist, you're being colorist," that's a contradiction. Being featurist, hair texture, all of that. When marginalized groups project negative stereotypes about their own group onto themselves, that is internalized racism, according to how it's defined.
Can we put Maceo on the big screen?
Yes,
real quick?
we can.
Yeah, of course.
So what I'd like to explain this chart because I'm very familiar with it. This is from the Southern Illinois University.
No, it's from the city of Seattle.
No, it's actually from Southern Illinois University. I have it right in front of me.
There's a lot of background noise. If you're not speaking, do me a favor and mute up, just so we can prevent from that gross static. What were you saying to me?
So regardless, this chart shows that like systemic racism is encompassing of all these types: interpersonal, internalized, and institutional. So all these work symbiotically with each other. So even if you read actually in drop that clown. So if you read what it says here in interpersonal race, it says prejudgment, bias, or discrimination by a white individual towards a person of color. Internalized racism exists within all of these. Systemic racism, if you look at the definition of systemic, it means relating to a system, especially as opposed to a particular part. So you can't just separate internalized racism from systemic racism. They're all encompassing.
Yeah, I'm not separating it. I'm saying it's a form of racism, and it's the only form of racism that applies to the marginalized group projecting it on itself. I didn't separate anything.
Yeah, but you have to separate it for us to even be able to enact it.
Well, acknowledging that there's 4 types of racism is separating them inherently, so I don't understand what your argument is.
Do you agree that all of these work symbiotically with each other?
Yeah, nobody's disagreeing with that. The problem is you're trying to cherry pick one and say, even though it falls under the structure of racism, I don't want to call it racist because it applies to me being anti-black, which would mean I'm being racist. So you try to change the definition to fit a narrative.
But you're using them as if they're synonymous with each other.
No, you're just trying to over intellectualize what I'm saying to make it seem like what I'm saying doesn't make sense.
I'm just trying to use words correctly. Those two descriptors are not synonymous.
What is internalized racism, sir?
And you have it right here. It's obviously like.
But you disagree with it, though.
I didn't say I disagree with it.
Okay, so you agree that when black people project negative stereotypes about their own race onto their own group, that they are participating in internalized racism, correct?
No, I don't agree.
Okay, so you do disagree with it. What are we talking about?
No, I don't agree that that's racism.
I didn't say that it's the entire system of racism. I'm saying it's a form of racism, just like institutional is a form of racism.
Institutionalized racism, all these forms, institutionalized, internalized, and structural, they all work encompassing with each other. Being anti-black is not synonymous with being racist.
That doesn't make sense to say that they work in tandem, but one of them isn't racist, but the other ones are racism.
would you say that a part of? Would you say like, say for example, with a car? Would you say a catalytic?
I'm sticking straight to this. I'm not making these analogies.
You can't just say you can't use analogy.
I said I'm not going to. You can make your analogy, but I'm sticking to what you're talking about.
So if a car, if a catalytic if a car has a catalytic converter and you take out that catalytic converter, is that car functional? We're talking about the functionality of racism. Is that is the catalytic converter functioning outside of that car?
So you disagree that internalized racism exists?
Wait, don't answer that question. He needs to address your question before he asks a question.
I mean, he's deviating from the conversation to make an irrelevant analogy. It's not analogous.
I see exactly where he's going with this. He is not deviating. Just play with the question just for the fun.
Yeah, I'd rather not entertain it. I'll just say I disagree.
So
I'll just say I disagree with his analogy and go back to the topic.
Whoa! Not you trying to talk over me as well. If you don't want to participate in the dialogue, then drop down. You came up here, right?
You brought me up.
I invited you. I was about to cover that. I brought you up here because I like what you said in the chat, and I wanted someone up here to challenge you. They did, but the problem is now you don't want to continue with the conversation.
No, I want to have the conversation, but people bringing up things that are not analogous.
Question, Maceo, answer his question.
I said I disagree with him. I said I disagree with him.
Tobias, he says no.
You'd have to prove that my analogy is not principled, which I know my analogy is principled. You'd have to show the symmetry breaker where it's not principled.
Yeah. So again, I'm sticking to the conversation about racism.
All right, you're running.
No, it's not running. It's you trying to deviate with something that's not analogous to what I'm talking about. So we agree.
Tell me what the symmetry breaker is.
So
where the principle is not.
So now
analogy.
He wants to talk about car parts. So anyway, are we talking about racism or are we talking about car parts?
He's drawing parallels.
Yeah, and I said I disagree with the parallels he's still talking about.
Analogies count on the principle. You have to show me where the principle isn't aligning. So can you demonstrate that or answer the analogy?
I disagree with the analogy. Do we want to go back to racism now?
You're running. You can't tell me.
Okay, I'm running from your analogy. You're running from my point that you already agreed to.
My point is analogous with your point. So you have to point out where the symmetry breaker is.
If you had a concrete argument, you would not deviate to this analogy. You would stick to it. And just
Okay. Macy, okay, hold on. We're gonna get something straight. We're all enjoying this dialogue. Y'all like the live, all that good shit. So, how questions work. You answer it, and then you get to ask your question. But what it sounded like is you're just not wanting to answer it. But with all of this space and time, y'all could have just had the damn dialogue by now, right? So, we're either answering the analogy, maybe whether you like it or fucking not, or we're gonna move on to the three new
what's
panelists.
with this hostility?
And we can circle. I am talking. Like,
Is that a microaggression?
Yeah, starting to cuss at me for no reason is very hostile.
I cuss
It's
at
not no reason. You won't shut
everybody.
your ass up.
Okay, and now
Now we're cussing again. Yeah.
It's annoying because
and now we
y'all
got
are
non-black
going back
people
and
calling
forth.
black people bitch
Y'all
ass.
are going back and forth.
Yeah. See, non-black mods in a pro-black
So we're
space.
going
right?
to move on because obviously you don't want to answer. So,
Hang on
host.
real quick. No one. I'm just laughing because it's so funny. I'm pretty sure I've heard Maceo's dialogue with Black, and Black got on his top, and Maceo didn't like that. And the thing about it is, I still wanted to hear where Maceo was coming from, but the problem that is going on right now is that Maceo doesn't want to continue with the dialogue for whatever fuck all reason, and that's fine. But he could have dropped by now. He doesn't have to sit here and let a non-black or whatever the fuck you're trying to say dictate when you should and should not be speaking. And by the way, this is my live. My moderators have the same power damn near that I have. If they feel like checking a panelist because they're off their fucking top, then they have every right to do that, and I back them unapologetically. Right? I vet my people. I trust my people. So what the fuck you talking about right now?
Yeah, so
is
why are we having a
irrelevant.
conversation
That's
about
irrelevant.
racism if you trust white people that much?
That is irrelevant. But the thing is, Maceo, what you're talking about is irrelevant.
How?
What I want you to address is Tobias' parallel example, that you
And I
continuously
already
run
addressed
from.
it. I said I disagree with him.
No. He asked you
A panel
to
about
bring
racism,
up.
but you got white mods.
He asked you. See, this is
I'm
how
not
your
white,
priorities
bitch,
are
and that's
messed
the
up.
problem here.
Yeah.
Again,
Okay,
like,
white
I already
bitch.
said it.
Okay, white
I'm
bitch.
white presenting, bitch. You know who's a bitch?
White
Your mama's
bitch.
a bitch.
White bitch.
Bitch, you know who's a bitch? Your mama's a
White
bitch because
bitch.
she had you and your little bitch. So now y'all a bunch of bitches with your families that are bitches. Like what? You want to talk
Bitch.
about a bitch all day?
What?
Your mama's a bitch.
Hey,
Bitch.
what's crazy though is that me and Tobias were on a panel, and I don't know if you remember Tobias, but you remember somebody tried to use that same Venn diagram
Yep,
to
I
prove
know.